Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, or in this case tonight, going over part 7 of the story, titled, Husband Tricks Wife into Writing Confession About Affair Coworker, Then Throws Her Out in Tears. And guys, it's been a long day, and I appreciate your support. This is the third video today. Where the story left off, we had Nico, which makes me think Rico, and I think Rico Suave. Remember that ridiculous song and video from the early 90s? All you guys in the 40s and 50s know what I'm talking about here. Where Nico discovers his wife Jessica is a big giant cheater, and sadly finds out that his daughter, who's 5, is not his. And now he obviously is kicking her out and all that, and he now is going to become another guy in this story with all these wives that are big cheaters. So I'm going to continue on. It says here, so then Nico told Jessica, if she has someone who can pick her up, call them now. Otherwise, he'll pay for one last thing, an Uber to take her away from him and his daughter for good. Jessica gave him an address to put in the Uber app. Nico said she can take her coat, but leave her rings and watch here. He's keeping her phone. They belong to him. Jessica said she needs her purse. So Nico got out her purse, gave Jessica her driver's license, and told her the purse and everything in it belongs to him. He told her to wait outside, and Jessica asked if they could talk after he calms down. Nico said he's never going to talk to her again. Jessica asked if she could talk to their daughter before she leaves. No, get out. So Nico smiled at us and said he was wrong about never talking to Jessica again. Later that evening, after he finished putting his daughter to bed, he heard the doorbell. It was Jessica with some guy. Nico assumed was X. Oh, if it's X, well, we know what X deserves. When Nico opened the door, the guy opened a gravity knife and started cleaning under his nails with the point of the blade. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Nico was in the military. I'm sure he knows how to defuse a situation, although no one should be stupid with someone with a knife, but you get my point. Nico told us it was a cheap knife. It would probably break apart if the guy ever used it on someone, but it had a decent-sized blade so it could do some damage. The guy introduced himself as Jessica's friend. He said Jessica told him that Nico hit her, took all her clothes, credit cards, and money and threw her out. Nico looked at Jessica. She looked terrified. Nico was sure this was not Jessica's idea. She isn't stupid enough to bring this guy anywhere near Nico. The guy continued that he brought Jessica home where she belongs. She'll continue to live here, and Nico and Jessica will remain married. There's nothing for Nico to be upset about. X and Jessica are just friends. Please. Regardless of his relationship with Jessica or how Nico feels about it, Jessica is not going anywhere. Oh, do tell. He told Nico to move aside. He and Jessica are coming into the apartment. The guy stopped cleaning his fingernails and held a knife down to his side, blade up. Nico said they're not coming in. Jessica is no longer welcome here. The guy took a step towards Nico, and Nico punched him hard in the solar plexus, then knocked the wind out of him. X dropped the knife and collapsed on his butt, trying to catch his breath. Nico kicked the knife into his apartment. Well, self-defense. And there's other things that can be done in self-defense. And if this guy lived in a state like Florida, what he can do in self-defense. Nico asked Jessica if she's out of her mind bringing this piece of crap here. Jessica apologized and said she told X it was a very bad idea, but he thinks he's a tough guy. He knows Jessica's parents won't give her any money if she's with him, so X thought he could scare Nico into taking Jessica back. X was slowly beginning to catch his breath. Nico told X to stay down and that he's keeping his knife. If he wants it back, he can just knock on Nico's door. But if he ever knocks on Nico's door again, Nico won't be so gentle with him next time. Jessica asked if she and Nico could just talk. She wants to be with Nico, not X. Nico went inside and closed the door. Nico continued that he called Angie, our attorney. Man, Angie's making a bundle this month. Called her on Monday and set up an appointment. He removed all money from their joint account. Then he got an STD and paternity test. He's seeing Angie tomorrow and will tell Angie that Jessica gets nothing in the divorce and he gets full and sole custody of his daughter. Jessica will have no contact with him or his daughter. Nico will tell Angie he won't negotiate about any of this. Well, Angie may have to give him a dose of reality. It may not work out the way he wants. So we all had questions. Beth went first. She asked Nico why he would confront a guy with a knife. That's pretty scary. Why not just go back inside and lock the door? Nico said X was not going away. It's always better to resolve things with the guy in front of you instead of him sneaking up behind you later. Nico laughed and said he spent 63 weeks training with guys who tried to stab him, shoot him, and blow him up. All those guys knew what they were doing. After training, he spent the next 3 years doing that with enemies of the U.S. X isn't all that scary. Beth asked what Nico would do if the guy decides to press charges for Nico hitting him. Nico said he has the guy's weapon. It's only X's fingerprints on it. Nico was just defending himself. Exactly. Nico works with his father-in-law, so I asked if he's heard from Jessica's parents. Nico said his father-in-law called and apologized for his daughter's behavior. She's been living with X, so her parents know what must have happened. Jessica can't BS them. Jessica's father told Nico that Jessica wants to live with her parents for a while. X evidently didn't mind her cooking and cleaning and giving him money, but he doesn't want a live-in girlfriend. Shocker. It's a Chad and Tyrone role. Especially one with no money. Her parents won't have anything to do with Jessica as long as she's seeing X. They won't let her move in with them, and they won't give her any money. Her father said they hope Jessica will get so desperate that she'll finally dump the a-hole. He apologized again for his daughter's behavior, but said they had no idea she's been seeing X. Well, there's no way she's getting rid of the guy. As far as the in-laws' relationship with Nico, he can have his job as long as he wants. But Jessica's parents know none of this is his fault. They still think of him as a son and look forward to spending time with him and their granddaughter. Nico thanked them and got off the phone. Nico told us they never considered him their son. They always thought Jessica could do better than Nico and made sure Nico and Jessica knew that's what they thought. The call was only about them being able to see their granddaughter. Jessica must have told them Nico won't allow Jessica to see the girl. Her father called to find out if that applies to them too. There you go. Jim asked why Nico thought he could get away with not giving Jessica alimony or any part of the joint assets. And no judge will deny Jessica access to their daughter. More likely the judge will give custody of Jessica and Nico will be fighting for visitation rights. And Nico can't just ignore court orders. Nico said there's not much they have in terms of assets. Nico already took the money out of the bank. Jessica drives the car Nico bought when he left the military. It's still in Nico's name and he thinks he may be able to have a buyer for it. If not, he'll just junk it. They rent, so there's no house to get rid of. There's some furniture, but that's all it for assets. Yeah, so not a whole lot. Nico then contended Jessica has a choice. She can agree on Nico's terms and hope he changes his mind and let her see the kid, or she can go after alimony, visiting rights, whatever, but she knows Nico and his daughter will disappear. She will never find them. Jim asked, how are you disappearing? It's not possible to just disappear. The judge will have the cops track Nico down and probably throw him in prison. Nico smiled and said, we'll see. We then pressed Nico to explain, but he said it's better that we do not know his plans. Well, we can see, guys, how this is going to get very interesting. So we started talking about the progress with our divorces. If our spouses had attorneys and what the spouses wanted in their settlements. Really too early to know what our spouses are planning. Jim wanted to go back to what Nico told them. Jim seemed angry at Nico for being so delusional. He told Nico that regardless of what Nico thinks, he will end up negotiating with Jessica over everything, including custody. Nico should not have any illusions about that. Why doesn't Nico understand that? Nico just replied that there will be no negotiation about anything, and Jessica knows that. We ended the meeting. Nico and I left, but Jim stayed to help Beth clean up. I decided to wait to have the discussion with them about getting involved romantically too quickly. It was Nico's first meeting with us, and the discussion of his divorce took up most of our time. I will talk to Jim and Beth about their budding romance. Well, good luck trying to separate those two horny lovebirds. I found out from Jessica, Nico's wife, how Nico plans to disappear with his daughter. Interesting. And she told me to monitor Linda's social media apps. I really didn't want to. Reading what my adoring wife was up to all these years was very painful. But I was curious about Nico's plans. Maybe Jessica told her girlfriends why Nico was so confident she wouldn't fight him over settlement he wants. After I got home from Wednesday's support group, I opened Linda's Instagram app on her laptop. The three Ys had started up with their DMs again. They had no reason to think I was watching. There was no more discussion of their hookups, just lots of complaints about their husbands. Imagine that. My wife explained why she doesn't need an attorney. She thinks I'll take her back even though she's already been served. I was just being more stubborn than she thought I could be. Carol told them her attorney is trying to find out what Jim has on her. Jessica told them we had their DMs. Linda and Carol wanted to know why Jessica never told them she was still seeing X. They were all friends. Why did Jessica hold back? I've always been wondering about that. Jessica said Carol and Linda have always been a disaster waiting to happen. Jessica knew they'd both end up divorced. She didn't think it would take years. She didn't think it would take years for Jim and me to realize our wives have been cheating on them, but it turns out Jim and I are very, very stupid. Oh, for God's sakes. She didn't talk about X because when confronted with her infidelity and divorce, the first thing Linda and Carol will do is tell everyone about Jessica and X. She didn't want to go down with them. What Linda and Carol didn't know couldn't hurt her. A lot of their chatter in the DMs was about all the problems Jessica is having. Poor Jessica has a lot of problems. X threw her out, so she's at her parents. Her parents not let her live with them unless Jessica agreed to follow their rules. Jessica is not allowed to contact X, not allowing to go out at night for any reason, and she has to get a job. Jessica is being treated like a teenager who missed curfew and is grounded. Well, because she's been behaving like a fucking asshole child. But Jessica told them in the DMs her biggest fear is that she'll never see her daughter again. And there's the leverage. Linda and Carol told Jessica not to worry about that. A judge will give Jessica custody. Jessica said Nico and her daughter will be gone long before they ever see a judge. Jessica explained the Army taught Nico a unique set of skills. Is Nico really Liam Neeson? That's what this sounds like. Those skills don't transfer well to civilian life, but there are private military contractors who pay plenty for skills like this. Nico trained as a weapons specialist, just what private military contractors are looking for. Even though Nico is now 30 years old, he still gets constant calls from recruiters hoping to get him to join up with them. After special ops training, Nico had to fulfill a 36-month commitment to the Army. Some of the guys he trained with left after 36 months to hire on with contractors or set up with their own shops. The pay is way, way better than the Army pays, so some guys leave for the private sector as soon as they can. Many of these paramilitary organizations are headquartered in the Middle East or Africa, so as long as they keep their host country happy, no one cares who they hire or what they do. So there's always suspicion that these stories are bullshit. You know. And so I know I got a lot of military guys that watch my channel, so the military guys their ears are perking up here in this, so I want to hear from the military guys. Is this bullshit? After she and Nico married, they talked about him joining up with one of these private military contractors. After a few years, he'd make enough money that he could do whatever they want, go where they want. But Nico insisted if he were to sign up his family, they had to come with him. He would sign up with a paramilitary organization that provided accommodations for his family. Jessica told him she's not going to some far-off country. Their life is here. If Nico wanted to go off and fight, he's going to do that without his family. Nico didn't want to leave his family. Nico told Jessica some guys sign up with these contractors because they have nowhere else to go. They wanted men in the U.S. or Interpol. They wanted men in the U.S. or Interpol is looking for them. If they have the right skills, they get new identities, new passports, the whole works, if that's what they need. No one cares about their past. They're just their skills. Jessica said Nico and their daughter will get new identities. They can be gone in weeks. But if she doesn't fight him about the divorce, there's no incentive for him to leave. It's dangerous work, and he has a daughter. If he's KIA, what happens to his daughter? If Jessica agrees to his terms, he'll stay here and maybe someday change his mind about Jessica having a relationship with her daughter. If they leave, Jessica will never see them again. There'll be no way to find them to enforce any court orders. And Nico and his daughter did disappear. Last Wednesday, oh boy, Angie called me to ask me if I know where Nico is. His cell phone is disconnected and he hasn't been to work. Angie called him the previous Friday to tell him Jessica hired an attorney. She told Nico Jessica's attorney notified Angie that they're asking a judge for an emergency hearing to get Jessica immediate custody of their daughter. The hearing is Friday morning and Angie can't find Nico. Well, I guess he did disappear, but if this is true, and this guy has his set of skills, and this guy can disappear, there you go. She ain't seeing her daughter. And you know what? She's a piece of shit mother. Have I seen Nico? Talked to him? I told her not since our support group last Wednesday. We're supposed to have another group meeting this Saturday night. Did Angie ask Jim about Nico? Not yet. I told her I'll call Jim and get back to her. Jim said he tried to call Nico about the support meeting Sunday, but his phone number is no longer in service. He wasn't at the gym as usual last Saturday. I called Angie and told her Jim can't get in touch with Nico either. I figured if anyone knew where Nico is, it would be the Wise. I hadn't looked at their DMs since last Wednesday night. I opened Linda's Instagram, skimmed through their chatter, mostly complaints about their husbands. We're evidently being hard-headed, uncaring, and insensitive. Evidently being hard-headed, uncaring, and insensitive. Oh, and these wives are such sweet angels. Eventually, I found a series of DMs where Jessica talks Nico and their daughter. Jessica told Linda and Carol her parents forced her to get an attorney, a guy at the law firm her father used for his businesses. Her parents want to get Jessica custody, and they want to settle the custody issue as quickly as possible. Yeah, I figured her parents were bankrolling this. Jessica explained to Linda and Carol her parents didn't believe that Nico would take the girl and disappear. And her parents argued if that's really Nico's plan, they better get their daughter before he can make any arrangements to leave. They convinced Jessica they could get custody before Nico could leave with her daughter. So Nico didn't go to work on Monday and didn't call in. Nobody has heard from Nico since last Friday. Jessica's father went by their apartment Tuesday morning to check out on his granddaughter. When he arrived, there were men moving furniture out of the apartment. They weren't putting it in a moving van, but into a big trash container, the kind you see at construction sites. Jessica's father asked one of the guys if they knew where Nico was, the guy who lives there. The guy told Jessica's father that they were given keys, told to toss everything left in the apartment, and then give the keys to the apartment manager. Her father wants to talk to the apartment manager. The manager said Nico called last Friday and told him he's giving up the apartment. He'll be gone the next few days. He will have people get the furniture out as soon as he can hire someone. They will have the apartment keys and will give them to the manager when they're done. Holy shit, Nico wasn't bullshitting. There was no forwarding address and no way to reach Nico. When the manager asked about where to find the security deposit, Nico said he can keep it. The manager told Jessica's father that's all she knows. So I called Angie after I read what Jessica told Linda and Carol in the DMs. I told Angie about Nico planning to get new identities for him and his daughter by signing up with a private military contractor. I told Angie that they're probably already gone. Angie sighed and said maybe that's for the best. There's no way Nico would get the divorce he wants from the judge. At least he has his daughter. Again, the big question is, okay, fine, let's just say he gets hired by one of these contractors, makes a fantastic amount of money, all that, but what if something happens to him, right? Last Friday, Angie called me. She got a letter in the mail from Nico. The zip code was from a large city on the other coast. Nico sent her a cashier's check for more than he owes her, and a letter explaining that he and his daughter have decided to live outside the U.S. for the time being. So will this go under attorney-client privilege? Nico thanked Angie for her help, but said he won't need her services any longer. Hopefully the enclosed check is enough to cover what he owes Angie. Please tell Jim, Beth, and me that he'll miss our support sessions, but he'll be with some Army buddies who will provide all the support he and his daughter needs. Angie can tell Jessica, her parents, and the judge anything she wants to about Nico and his daughter, or nothing at all. Holy crap. So that, guys, is the end of this day's worth of shows. Holy crap. This is a goddamn soap opera. A lot of these are soap operas. So I'm very interested in what the military folks are going to be thinking in the comment section. And it should be very interesting to hear what you all say. But anyhow, so bro, thanks for writing in this long update. You kept my afternoon here busy. And I really wish you well in this whole thing. And Beth and Jim, you horny little rabbits, stay away from each other. Listen to the attorney. Okay, I know you watch me. So keep the romance off until you're divorced and all that. You can build up the suspense and all that. But take it one day at a time. Have your meetings, do what you got to do to get through this, and you're going to be okay. And if Nico watches this, I wish you the best, brother, wherever you are in the world, kicking butt. Anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you got a great story. Definitely email to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I will want to get the chance. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.